You never know what face to do when the camera turn on. It's like, because then it'll get you in this little awkward pose, but nobody don't think about that but me, right? Nobody. So this is Jay Chatfield, Loving Yourself to Life, Honest Chat, Story Being Giant, Jay Chatfield Stories. Focus your hustle. I have so many things, and I get asked the question all the time. How am I able to do all of these things? Well, one, I want to explain something to you. One of the things that I found out when I looked into myself is that my fifth house is full. I know a lot of people don't look at astrology, but my fifth house has all D planets, all D planets. I don't have planets anywhere else except for another one in the sixth house and one in the seventh house. So I know that, and then I got Chiron in the 12th. So I know that my mission here, I am a master creator. And once I stepped into knowing that I am a master creator, that's when I was able to embrace the many, just the ideas that would just flood in, not only for me, but also for other people. So before that, I was hiding from that fact. Like I was like, yeah. And people would tell you all the time, you're a jack of all trades and a master of none. Well, that's not me. Okay, but I fed into that idea, so that was me. And then when I dialed it back and started thinking about and started researching myself, started looking at myself, I would get so frustrated that I would lay in the bed and cry because I had so many ideas and nowhere for them to flow. Right? You would think that you'd have ideas and they go, no, I would, and people would be like, yeah, that's not a bad thing. But to someone who's put here to create and create massively, it's a problem because not only do you want to see everything happen the way you see it, you just can't stop seeing what you see or hear what you hear. There's no turn off switch. Even when I suppressed my gift of creativity, they still was coming, and I actually just wrote them down and just was like, but that was the best thing about it, because now that I'm ready, I'm going back looking at stories that I wrote years ago. I was my most creative when I was pregnant with my daughter, and not my daughter is born a Leo, and she's a 5, needs, desire, and ambition number, and she's a 5, life path. So, okay, if you got that, you got that. She was, and then she likes to write and do the things that I like to do. Very super creative. And I could tell you how I was with each one of my children because they all came out how I was at that time, and also what I needed to project into my life. We could talk about that another time. But being a master creator, I create all of the things that I do when I'm told to create the things that I do. That's how I'm supposed to organize it in my head. So my organization is not going to look like someone else's organization where there's like, okay, 1 or 2 things at a time. No, because last week, whereas I didn't focus on videos, I just had an outpouring of, okay, stories. I didn't have anybody lined up to interview for honest chats. That's because the flow was there, the alignment was there for me to work on Story Being Giant, the podcast of children's stories that's read by stories. You only hear children's voices on there. And then this week it's videos, do. But I don't plan it. I just flow with what I'm told. And then there's weeks where I don't do anything. There's weeks where I just listen, right? And I remember someone asked me, are you writing this down? I don't need to write it down, especially when you're fully flowing in your gift. And like I said, as a master creator, when I need it, it comes back to me. Some things I do write it down because it's kind of like a like a little peripheral thing to something that's bigger. But honestly, don't shut yourself down, especially when you find out who you really are, because all of those little things that people say, like I say, jack of all trades, master of none. I really can do anything. I've had every job that you can imagine, except for like a trash person, like, or it's. I mean, I've even been a doctor. Listen, y'all. So I've done a whole lot of things in my life, but that was because I have a 5 energy, even though I'm not a life path 5, but I am a 358 life path, plus my needs, ambition, and desire number is a 15th. I'm born on the 15th of the month, and then I'm born in the 11th month. So a lot of that, all of that comes into who you are. So take the time and study yourself. Take the time and understand why you are, because it will drive you crazy because other people are saying what everything else looks like, and it really has nothing to do with you specifically, because you are uniquely made. And you think people who don't create multiple things and multiple platforms and do all of these things, you don't think they've been told many times that you just got to stick to one thing. When I tell you that's impossible for me, that's impossible for me. And my partner, my husband, who can just be disciplined and do one thing, I drive him nuts. Because today, the next day, and it was seen as being inconsistent. One, because I didn't know how to drive my own boat. Now, when you learn how to drive it, when you learn what to do, then it becomes seamless, flawless, aligned, everything. So I know how to write songs, everything. So when stuff come to me now, I don't go tell them. I don't tell the people that are, because they only can see it like this when I'm like this. So whenever there's something that comes to me that's just amazing, I do keep it to myself until I have a little bit of a manifestation for whoever I want it to. But that's also to protect me. But all on another note, I really don't care if you understand it or not, because I heard it divinely. This is something that I know that I know that I know, and it's going to manifest itself. So if you are, I know there's a lot of plenty of YouTube personalities out there that have multiple things going on, and you try to understand why. One, you can't understand another person until you understand yourself. You can't have a grasp of what they're thinking until you really know where your pocket is. And because I have many pockets, it doesn't mean that it relates to anything that everybody else is saying. That means that you're not affected by that. You only need to listen to yourself and the teachings that go on from your higher self and God, who, however you want to line it up. So I just want to say that I always, a lot of the moms that I'm around, they ask me, what do you do? And then I start with this laundry list of things. They're like, I don't understand. Or I'll get this. Oh, you do that too? Oh my gosh. Well, see, first of all, what I do ain't got nothing to do with you. And plus you asked me. So I didn't. Okay. Okay, because you'll see what I do, right? So I'm shaking my desk. So again, I don't know. I felt really led to say that, and while somebody chooses to wash dishes or do whatever they're doing while yeah. So love yourself often. That's what loving yourself about. Chat, talk to you, get in a corner or wherever you want to go, fall in love with your gifts, fall in love with everything about you, so that when there's some type of attack that comes from you or here or there, that you already know who you are and you're firmly in that foundation of who you are. Right. And there's nothing anyone can tell me right now that tells me that I can't do everything that spirit tells me to do. I don't care. Even if I'm taking a month off from something and I need to do this, I'm still doing it. And if it may be 2 years before I touch that thing again, it's still there. And when I touch it again, it's going to be the right time. So get into yourself, get into your gifts, get into who you are. So like it's, like I said, you won't have this, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should. What do I do? That's a song. Let's sing it all. This is Jay Chatfield, Loving Yourself to Life, Honest Chats. Jay Chatfield Stories. I have a podcast, Loving Yourself to Life. I have a podcast, new podcast for kids, Story Being Giant, where I do write metaphysical stories, and then there's also other stories that I wrote a while ago that have some other genres attached to them. But these are really my dreams and just stuff that just come to me that I know my kids like hearing about, and then they're reading. And I'll open that up one day to other voices. But right now, this is where we're starting. That's another thing. Start. And the audio, anyway, I can talk all day. Honest chats, right? Honest chats. But that's a podcast. Go ahead and listen to that. It will grow. It'll continue to grow. If you have some ideas, send me your ideas. If you have some stories, I'm not set up for monetization just yet, so it will just be read and we can go over that. You can email me at graceguidance@gmail.com or send me a DM here and I'll get in touch with you, or a comment, because I don't think you could do that on YouTube or wherever. Anyway, so send me that, and then we'll go from there. If you have any ideas, if you want to talk to me, I have services on my website, Loving Yourself to Life. I'm really good with ideas for other people. I've helped people start businesses and they're still flourishing. I've helped people get out of certain situations because I think way outside of the box. So if you have something like that, I don't do readings, even though I can, but that's not what I'm supposed to be doing right now. But I do numerology stuff sometimes. So it just depends on what it is when you talk to me. All right. Jay Chatfield, Loving Yourself to Life. As always, do something for you that only you will love, like investigate yourself. Have a love yourself day.